Welcome to my 3-part series lectures of the unconscious system. The unconscious system. Okay, this lecture is this lecture entitled? I don't even know what I'm going to call it yet. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. But what I want to convey is necessity dictates the perception of reality. In other words, consciousness censors perception. See, Freud said it was the other way around. Freud said the unconscious censors perception, reality. Why would the unconscious system has no necessity, has no necessities. So it doesn't have the motive to censor the perception of reality. Okay, so Freud said that, that's the problem. We're going back in time. You get backwards narratives when you go back in time. This is Freud's backwards narrative. There's lots of them. This is just an example of the backwards narratives that kind of like just prevent time from going into the future, and prevents life from being lived. Anyways, this is my philosophical musings. These are my that's what I am. I'm a philosopher, I suppose. That's what Freud was. But anyways, okay, so the unconscious adheres to a code of morals and ethics. The unconscious system adheres to ensure the survival of the species. Dreams are caused by the failure of consciousness to adhere to such a code. That's what causes a dream, right there. And dreams are pretty much a disturbance of your sleep. They're caused by a disturbance. And they're caused by that's a somatic disturbance. That's what Freud says, that dreams are caused by a somatic disturbance, but from the organs, like the brain is an organ. And it got disturbed, and it caused a dream. And the unconscious, because it's worried about the survival of the species. It doesn't, wants, it's not selfish and, doesn't act recklessly. Not selfish and doesn't act recklessly. I don't know, maybe it does. I don't know. But anyways, okay, so hopefully you could wrap your mind around that. I don't know. Okay, dreams are caused by the failure of consciousness to adhere to such a code. Okay, now for the grand finale. We're going to interpret my dream of the kiwi and the finch. Excuse me. Okay. I had a dream a long time ago. It took a long time for me to interpret this dream too. It took at least 3 years, maybe 5-10 years to figure out how to interpret this dream. But it's a lot of dreams could take that long, years to interpret. properly. So the dream I had was, well, I had a cage with two finches in it. I had a cage with two finches, and these finches were like, they loved each other as a male and a female finch. And there was, they laid eggs? I think they started laying eggs, little finch eggs, on the bottom of their cage. But none of them would hatch. None of them hatched because I guess they didn't make a nest or something for them. I don't know. But none of them hatched, and I didn't want one to hatch. I didn't want a bird. Matter of fact, I made a wish that the birds would not lay no more eggs. I remember making this wish. I remember didn't want them to lay eggs because I didn't want more finches. Because then there'd be more and more and more finches, and then I have a whole house full of finches. So that's why I didn't want to lay an egg. But anyways, and then that night, I had a dream where I looked in the bird cage, and the finch laid an egg, but the egg was huge. It was a big egg, because finch eggs are tiny. This egg was as big as the finch, his body was. Actually, there was no kiwi in this dream at all. But this is an example of how things get, how displacement occurs in a dream. See, because there was, and then I was watching a show about the kiwi, a nature show about the kiwi, and I found out that the kiwi almost dies when it lays an egg, because the egg is so big, and the kiwi almost dies each time it has an egg. So, because it's so big. So that's what happened, was the finch laid this giant egg. Actually, So with the interpretation of this dream here is actually a disturbance that caused this dream. I know the disturbance that caused this dream. It was let's see, it goes way back. So this dream is actually a reoccurring dream. If you really examine dreams, you'll find that they're all reoccurring in different ways, but it's the same occurrence. That's what dreams are. So the unconscious has so many combinations. Could make any combination. I forget how to go in there. I forget. Well, anyways, so damn, I lost my train of thought. Well, anyways, the disturbance was actually has to do with a birth. Actually, my birth has to do with my birth, because my mom was I was a really big, I don't know, it's a problem. Any woman that gets pregnant by me is gonna have a problem, because I don't know, I'm just really big. I was 10 pounds. I was born 10 pounds, and my mom is very slight. She's pretty small, like a finch. And she was trapped in a cage. And she was trapped in this cage. And so, yeah, it's about, so yeah, that's actually a recurring dream a lot. Many people don't realize that it's a disturbance. It was a traumatic event, being born. It was a traumatic event, and doesn't really deal with adherence of to a code, because that's just a disturbance. So yeah, and I never really appreciated this fact. See, I never really fully appreciated, what? And it describes a lot about me because, well, I do not have a lot of genetic, genetic problems in my lineage. A lot of genetic, like problems with birth and just problems in general. Because I don't know. I come from actually a royal family. I come from a royal family, and that's why it's really hard for me. My mom almost died, and they were just like king size babies. Like for a normal girl, anyways, for a normal Finch type girl. I'm not. Believe it, something like that. That's kind of how I interpret this dream. So let's see, how long is it? 11 minutes? 12 minutes? So yeah, my mom was always trapped in a cage, which is really sad. So yeah, and this is displaced. These two were displaced. Finch for the kiwi. Displacement in a dream. Yep, I come from, I don't know, I'm related to the king and queen and all that stuff. So I'm related to the king and queen and the royal family. So that's what this is all about. So this dream, well, I didn't really always know that was my lineage. When I had this dream, I didn't know that was my lineage. See, but now, see how my unconscious told me? Yeah, your unconscious could, tell you stuff that you don't perceive. I didn't perceive this. Like who my parents were. I was raised in a family and didn't perceive that these people were not my family, and found out otherwise differently. So this dream pretty much tells me, about who I am. Well, it does. And it explains a lot. Tons of information here in this simple little dream of a bird and an egg that was too big. Tons of information here. Okay, so now, well, thanks for watching my video. Ciao.